What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the It's Just Work podcast, hosted by yours truly, Chuck Clemens, and my brother Stephen Hurley. Back with another segment of our college basketball picks of the week. Steve, how'd you do this past week?
I was pretty solid, I think unfortunately the deciding game for us was that Purdue Alabama. You got the best of me there, but did get you on the Arizona UCLA. But overall, we've been pretty solid.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we had pretty similar picks. I think we did pretty good. Obviously, Purdue has been still in the lead. I think right now I'm 9-4 on the season in terms of our picks. I think you're 8-5. So the pod is doing really well. I mean, we're plus 500, and we're just gonna keep rolling with it. Another great week, of great games, high level games. Let's get right into it. We have first game. Let's go, Duke versus Kansas Tuesday at MSG. In one of these classic games, obviously it's gonna be a huge game. Two very talented teams. What's your outlook? Who we got? What we got?
yeah, I just think for Kansas here, Darren Peterson most likely going to be out. Duke is a little under the radar to me right now. They're really deep, really good. Again, I just like Duke here. I think no Peterson, no Peterson, no chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously the big guy Flory, who just had a crazy double double, this past game that they had. But you're going against the top great team in Duke. They actually play very good defense. Caden Boozer, Dame Sar, they look pretty ready right now in terms of big dude Patrick, Isaiah Evans. Obviously, Cam Boozer can be Cam Boozer. So they just look a little bit more ready right now. Obviously, losing Darren Peterson is pretty tough. But I'm also gonna go with Duke with this one. We are 1-1 so far on this first pick. That's a great sign. Let's move over to Michigan State versus Kentucky. Michigan State had a great game this past week versus Arkansas. We both had Arkansas. We both had Kentucky beating Louisville. So those two teams that were on the opposite ends of our spectrum this past week. Who do you have this upcoming game Tuesday at MSG as well in the same classic?
Yeah, so this is going to be, I think, a pretty big upset. I'm going to go Michigan State here. I think that they showed me something against Arkansas, where Arkansas, they're a talented team, and they had no problem, again, going against them, running their stuff. I just think Kentucky right now, possibly no Jalen Lowe. I think they're still trying to find out who they are. I think they have a lot of potential, but on a neutral court, I think Michigan State's just a little farther ahead what they want to do. I'm going to take them here. I think again, they have that physicality up front to match Kentucky. I just, I trust Fears at point guard right now. I just think Kentucky's kind of still figuring it out.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they're still figuring it out. This is a tough game for me. Obviously the talent level for Kentucky is there. Michigan State continuity is there. Big players, older guys. I don't know. This is a tough one. Tough one. I like Kentucky. I think Jalen Lowe playing or not playing is going to be a big X factor for me. Um, I'm gonna assume he's gonna play. I think I'm gonna go with Kentucky on this one. They got did me dirty last week. I'm riding with these guys again. Hopefully doing better. I'll take it away. Not that great of a game last week. Hopefully he can kind of pick it up, be that preseason type of player of the year that he can be. Aberdeen show some great flashes. Hopefully they can play number three off the bench again. Give him some more minutes, but he brought a lot of energy. I think we're right with Kentucky.
I think a big one in this too is can Michigan State, who's an elite rebounding team traditionally and this year especially, can they keep Kentucky off the glass? If they can. I think they have a great shot, but it'll be a great game, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a bigger game. Let's move on to Arizona versus UConn. Two teams who have done very, very well in this early season. Arizona's obviously high pick for you. They've gotten some great wins so far. UConn just had a great game versus BYU. They play Wednesday at UConn. What's your outlook on this game? Who do you got?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Arizona here. I think that they've played two different totally types of teams so far in UCLA and Florida, and they won. And I think UConn, now I am impressed with them. I personally think that UConn in this game, they're going to have on the court versus Arizona, they're going to have to guard all five guys, whether that's in the post with Krivas, whether that's on the perimeter with Pete Burries. I thought versus BYU, they kind of let one guy carry them back in the game. And Debance is a great player, but Arizona's got a lot of guys. Arizona traditionally too has done pretty well on non-conference on the road. Remember they won at Duke a few years ago, so Tommy Lloyd definitely knows how to go into tough places and win. I'm gonna go with Arizona right now. I think UConn defensively, there's still some question marks there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they won, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they won pretty convincingly, but I'll go Arizona here. I think they're a sneaky good matchup. And defensively, Arizona's definitely better than they've been in previous years.
No, they've been super impressive. Huge, huge top 10, top 15 games. Obviously going to UCLA, games in LA, so it's basically a home game for
Right.
UCLA. Getting it up there. Very well-rounded team from top to bottom in terms of positioning and stuff like that. I'm gonna go to UConn though. I think to get three major wins so early in the season will be huge for Arizona, and if they do that, props to them. Hats off to them.
Right.
They got it, but I think it'll be tough for them to come into UConn. Obviously, it's gonna be rocking there. UConn packs it out, one of the best fan bases in the country. Obviously, I think Hurley will go back into the film. They'll go back into the film, see what that second half was looking like versus BYU. Obviously, Cole Pete will be somebody that they really have to hone in on in terms of who they can put on them, as well as Carabin, put maybe Terry Screen on them a little bit, Jalen Stewart off the bench. That's be something that they really focus on. But I do think, Silas can match up with Jaden Bradley pretty well. Hopefully,
Right.
Silver can get to that level of what he can do in terms of being that type of guy offensively, and he can match up with Brandon Burries. And obviously Terrace Reed kind of has the power and the strength to guard these big dudes for Arizona down low. So I think it'll be a very good game. I think it could easily go both ways. I'm gonna go the UConn based on the fact that they're at home, um, and I think they're gonna go back, and I think it'd be tough for Arizona to kind of win three top 15 games
Yeah,
like
will not be easy. I don't
back.
disagree.
So yeah, I think we'll rock with UConn. Let's move to Alabama versus Illinois. It's gonna be another great game. This is also on a Wednesday at Illinois, so my Wednesday is gonna be cleared out. These two games,
Might
I'm
as
not.
well. Yeah.
Bama at Illinois, Wednesday at Illinois. Looks on that.
Yeah, so this game's going to be a track meet.
Yeah.
So these teams are going to get up and down, no doubt about it. Big separator here, in my opinion, is I just think Alabama is honestly not a great defensive team. I think Illinois is a pretty good defensive team, and the front courts. Illinois' front court is very good. Alabama's is right now a work in progress. Wouldn't be shocked if Alabama won this game. I just think Illinois is honestly the more well-rounded, better version of Alabama, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama won, but I'm going to go Illinois here. I think they're again they're still under the radar. I don't think people think they're a top 10 team in the country. I think this team's a top 5 team in the country, and I think they're going to come out with a big win here. It's in Chicago, right? A little bit of home court kind of vibe there, so I'll go Illinois here.
No, I agree on this one. I think the biggest thing is just the front court. Obviously, Illinois has shown that these front court guys from Europe can play. They're smart. Zero's a big body. Obviously, that's something that Alabama's had to struggle with a little bit last week versus Trey Van Coffin. And I think we saw that these Bama guards they can get guarded pretty well. Obviously, Aiden Holloway did pretty well, but Purdue forced these guys into tough shots throughout the whole game. And obviously, I think Illinois is a much better defensive team than Purdue. So if they
Right.
can kind of force them to take these mid-range floaters, pull-ups, kind of do what Purdue kind of did in the summer stance, I do think that also there's a well-rounded team on both ends of the floor. So
I was also going to say Alabama played a similar game versus St. John's like this. The big difference here as well, though, is the perimeter defense for Illinois is just so much better at the guard spots, whether it's Boswell, Wagler. Those guys are just much further along right now than St. John's guards defensively. So, yeah, give me Illinois here.
yeah, all right, both have Illinois on this one. Let's move to another game. This is on a Friday game. BYU, who obviously played UConn this past week, took a tough loss. Obviously, was going to smack, but came back. Got some guys out. Obviously, we know about their big man who unfortunately got hit in the head. We'll see if he's playing. Obviously, they have another player who has to sit out for the time being. Versus a Wisconsin team who's also ranked top 25. Game is Friday at Wisconsin. What's your outlook on that?
This one, again, is going to be kind of a more slower pace game. I'm going to assume both their center and the other starter that's sitting out right now for BYU are not going to play. So I'm going to go with Wisconsin here. I think last year they lost them in the second round. They have guys from that team coming back. A little bit of motivation there. Underrated backcourt too with Nick Boyd and John Blackwell. Those guys are really good players. So I think that backcourt versus BYU's, it's pretty. Most people would give the decisive advantage to BYU here. I really like Wisconsin, a slow pace game. Again, BYU is going to be heavily reliant on the shot making of Saunders and Debanta in a slower pace game. I don't think repetitively over and over again game that's a great strategy. So I'm gonna go Wisconsin here. A little bit of motivation, a little bit of I just think they're obviously a little healthier right now. I'll go with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm also going Wisconsin too. I think BYU losing, if we're assuming these guys are playing, two starters are huge. Obviously, have
Yeah,
a little bit of talent off the bench, but I think Nick Boyd, John Blackwell, like you just mentioned, experienced players. Obviously, Nick Boyd playing the Final Four a couple years ago.
right.
They'll bring that experience against, obviously Rob Wright, who's still a younger player, but you still figure out this new system. So I think Wisconsin is gonna you know shock some people and take this game. And it's at
Yeah,
Wisconsin as well, I believe. So
yeah,
home court advantage is super huge early on. Obviously, BYU coming just from all across the country this past week. So I'm gonna go Wisconsin this week as well. Last game though, let's go Cincinnati versus Louisville. Obviously, Louisville had a great one versus Kentucky. Great freshman point guard Michael Brown. But the Cincinnati team, they have a lot of fight within them. The game's at Cincinnati on Friday. Definitely could see some guys at Cincinnati popping out and making it rowdy there. What's your outlook on that?
yeah. So I think again, I have not watched Cincinnati. They did have a good win versus Dayton, but I've seen a few metrics where they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. In this game, they're both going to be back and forth and whatnot. I kind of think here that Louisville's first road test. I'm going to go Cincinnati here. I think that first road test, great defensive team so far, from what the analytics say. And they had a good win against the Dayton team that's probably going to make the NCAA tournament. So it's not like they haven't played anyone. I'll go Cincinnati here. I think, again, that style of play up and down, especially on the road, is susceptible to, okay, what if the shots aren't falling? You know, Also, too, I saw Cincinnati shooting like 29% from three. A little positive regression with the 3-point percentage there. I'm going to go Cincinnati here.
Yeah, obviously we both picked Kentucky beat Louisville last week, and they obviously showed us up. Michael Brown played phenomenal. Ryan Conwell, Woolley off the bench. They had a really great win. But I do think, I don't know, these freshman point guards, it's tough to go on a road, your first real road test in a situation where it's at Cincinnati, where this team is really gritty. I've seen them play. I forgot who they play. I watched them play one game, and they were just like super gritty, up and down. They're gonna get in your stuff. They're gonna make you make plays. They're gonna turn you over and stuff like that. Going on the road for a Louisville team who obviously relies on the 3-point shooting, spacing, stuff like that. I think it'll be a great game. But I also am gonna go with Cincinnati on this one.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we went against Louisville last week, and then they turned us over. Obviously, we heard that a little bit from a couple of friends, Don Black, obviously mentioned in our last episode, but also we
Right.
see some stuff on social media as well. So, I'd be not surprised, but I'll be like, okay, this Louisville team, they can go in there and get a win. I'll be pretty impressed because it's not gonna be easy.
No, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, but yeah. All right, so I mean, we're pretty similar with good on these picks. Both have Duke. You have Michigan State, I have Kentucky. I'm going UConn. You're going Zona. Both Illinois. Both Wisconsin. So, I mean, both Cincinnati. So they're pretty similar.
Early in the week, there'll be Tuesday and Wednesday, some deciding games for us, my friend.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, we're gonna keep this up and see how it goes. But thank you guys for locking in with our predictions for the week. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all that above. We appreciate your guys' support, all the love that you guys are showing us, whether it's uh, love on the greater side, love on the opposite side. We love to hear your constructive criticism, all that stuff like that. Just keep supporting us, and we're gonna keep trying to give you guys the best content we can give you guys. So we appreciate it.